Hello everyone. Today we'll be making some vintage Japan inspired snow babies. Pause if you need these supplies. I did speed things up, so you may want to pause throughout the video. But most of the steps, at least at this part, are pretty simple. We're just kind of building a frame using pipe cleaners, and then I used a wooden bead to kind of be the head of it, and then with the pipe cleaners I just kind of made a body shape. This may take a little bit of time to figure out what size you want to make your snow baby. I would suggest making a smaller one to start out with. This was actually my second one that I've made. I made a first one yesterday and it turned out really cute. It was a little bit smaller and I wanted to try out a bigger one. But the process is the same. You just kind of make a skeleton frame. I don't know what you want to call it. I kind of felt like Frankenstein when I was making this. Like I'm making a little creation and it's not really going to look like a monster, but you know, I guess you could do that too. I twist the pipe cleaners around and fold them, double layer them, just to make it more sturdy and bendy so you can position it later. You could also use craft wire. I do use a mix of the pipe cleaners and like crafting jewelry making wire just to make it super secure in the size I want. The craft wire is pretty much optional. You can use the pipe cleaners to achieve a similar effect, but I think for like defining details, like I wanted to get the neck a little bit more defined, which it didn't turn out that way in the end, but also I did end up using this to like extend its limbs. I decided that its arms were too short, and it's handy to just add to that because you can thread it through the pipe cleaner and just add a little extra, and it can like hold the fluff down when you get to that step. So I just take some of this polyfill, like fake snow stuff, and wrap it around. It's really easy to manipulate and kind of press down and form into the shape you want. You could use other soft material to fill the body with, but I kind of thought of this part as like adding the muscle and fats to the little frame I'm building. And it was turning out pretty cute. I do think the head is like the hardest part to get the shape right for, because you have to get it the right size. One thing that I did find helpful is when you're trying to add the fill to the head and making it kind of circle shaped, the wire doesn't do good for making the head shape very much, but like softer string works pretty well. You can like tighten it to how you want, where it's still a circle or a sphere, but still stays in place. So I did use some like white string just to kind of form the head, and then wire for the body just to make it so you can pose it later on and make it arms proportionate to its head, because that's the other thing, is I felt like my head got a little bit too big, I guess, but it still turned out pretty cute, so I'm not mad at it. Mittens was trying to help me. When you're making the clothes, it's good to kind of have the body laying on it so you can measure, and I would still measure a little bit bigger because you can always trim it back down, but can't really, I mean, you can stretch. Oh, Alex took Mittens. You can kind of stretch the felt a little bit, but it's definitely easier just to have it be the size you need. So I think bigger where you can trim it down is better. And then I fold this over to cut it, just so then I have two sides that are the exact same that I cut out. And I actually made this one a little bit too small. I would have liked to make it a little bit longer. So it's always good to measure twice, cut once. It's the same with lumber, but another reason to cut it just slightly bigger than what you need is that we will be sewing them together. I am not great at sewing, so I always like to give myself a little extra room. I will be hand sewing this. I don't have a sewing machine, and I don't really know how to use one, but I am sure that it would speed up the process, so if you have one of those at your disposal, that would be great. I don't know how often people make tiny clothes like this, but it's a good skill set to have for this craft. I think learning how to sew is beneficial, so I try to do it in little projects like these. I think it helps me not get so stressed out at worrying about how it'll turn out, because I won't be wearing it. This little guy will be wearing it. But I should still probably actually learn some techniques, because all I really know is how to make the fabric stay together. And try not to sew the armholes and head spot shut, because I did do that the first time I tried this. Like I said, I'm not an expert sewer. But yeah, I got it somewhat sewed on, then I put it on the body and sewed the rest of the way shut, so I didn't have to try to put it over its big head. Just sewing it while it's on there is much easier. But before I finished sewing the rest of the dress shirt, I decided to add the felt onto the legs. And this is another way you can add some length that you don't necessarily need to add wire to. Just making the legs a little bit longer. And then stuffing some polyfill in it will make it add a little bit of length. The majority of the project that we have left is sewing on the felt to cover up the limbs, so it's not just loose polyfill, and then also sewing on extra details for the clothing, and for this one I made it a little hat as well, and I added trim to the dress. But yeah, it's gonna be lots of sewing. If you need any other tutorials on sewing, I do not really explain it good, because I have a very basic understanding of it. But yeah, you just kind of make the legs, and then I stuffed a little bit of extra polyfill in here just to make the leg a little bit longer at the end. And it does take a while to sew all these. It would probably be faster with a machine. The fun part at this stage is kind of watching it come to life. It's starting to look like an actual little doll almost. Here's where I added some wire to add some length to the arms, and then adding the covering to it. It's looking so cute. Now I just need to add the head. felt and maybe some trim for the dress so it kind of hides where I sewed on the coverings for the arms. And it's looking cute. I do think the head is kind of the hardest part. I thought this would work okay. If you had any better ideas, feel free to try, because I feel like mine turned out a little bit wonky, but it's still pretty cute. I'm going to hide that top with, I'm going to make her a little hat, and I made her a little collar for her dress. Choosing the colors can be really fun, and I only used like one pom-pom for the hat, but you could also add like little pom-poms on her dress, or I've seen some people make overalls for them. The opportunities are endless for the clothes that you can choose for these little guys, but sewed a little hat for her, I think. I really almost got sick of sewing at this point, but it's also fun to make little clothes. I think this was my favorite part, was making the little hat, adding the trim to the hat, and then now all it needs is a face. So I sewed a little bead on for the nose, and then I'm just going to paint on the eyes with some black acrylic paint. You could get like pink acrylic paint and add like a mouth or rosy cheeks. Would be really cute as well. But this is just about done. I kind of tried to match what the vintage ones looked like with their little eyelashes, but do be careful when you're painting on the face, because the felt is kind of hairy and it can kind of change where your paint is moving if it gets caught on a strand that is not laying flat onto the surface. That's why I kind of trimmed it up here, because there was some wet paint just kind of hanging out. But I think the eyes turned out pretty cute. And I painted on a little mouth. And you could use fabric paint instead of acrylic paint. I just used what I had with me at home. And here's the first end, the one I just made. Pretty cute. I hope you guys liked this little craft video, this craft idea. This is the first one I made. I made this yesterday, and I thought I'd try to change it a little bit with this one, but I actually like this one's head more than I do the way I did this one. But I like this one's body more, and I want to try to make different outfits for next time. But I think they turned out pretty cute. Let me know what you think.